Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS. It's time for Owin's Field Report, sponsored by Les Schwab Tire Centers.
Welcome back, everyone. The reports for yesterday were a little sporadic. The Columbia was open, and it is open today. It seemed like things didn't necessarily improve on the Columbia as opposed to Friday when it did open, right? But you can't catch one of those upriver fish unless you're on the Columbia, right? So it's certainly an option to get out there. Now, if you wanted to be, maybe spend your time thinking that you're going to have a little bit better of an opportunity, I would still say the Willamette is probably it. Not that it was red hot yesterday by any means, but there was certainly fish caught in all the likely areas. And we mentioned this in the first segment. Deep water trolling, the 360 thing, whatever the bait is that you decide to fish behind it, seems to be, not necessarily the only way, but certainly a very effective way. So that might change the location that you spend your time on the Willamette. The egg bite, though, from what I understand, is non-existent. Sounds like the current has also really slowed down up there in the Oregon City area. So just kind of keep that in mind. You do have a number of options. The hard part now is just picking which one you think is you're going to be more successful at. So good luck to you. I hope that you have some good luck this week. We're going to check in with Drew Reeves for the first time in forever here in just a little bit and find out how that weather is going forward. Okay, Ryan, go ahead and throw that photo up of that hot tail bait that I showed yesterday. I misspoke yesterday. Dave made sure to remind me of that. These are size 4 beads, not size 6. Kind of specific there because it is a relatively small bait. The size 6 beads could interfere, but at the very least, again, and for those that were curious about, that may have missed it, we got a couple of questions on our Facebook page about that. This is not rocket science rigging. This is actually very standardized, nothing that I came up with on my own. The only variant here that you might have seen anywhere else is I do have a slider for my 2/0 hook above it, just because some of those coon shrimp can be a little bit smaller and some are a little bit bigger, and I want to make sure that one of those hook points on that size 1 treble hook is in the bait itself, so it's not just flopping around back there. I want it in the bait, so when the fish comes up and tries to be a little soft with it, that it's getting the hooks, right? So that's the only thing that I may have done different than anybody else. Not that you have to. It's just something that makes at least me a little bit more confident. And again, if you're going to try these hot tails out, which I'd recommend. Again, I fished it for an hour. I had an opportunity, and I was able to land that fish, and it looks great in the water. The only thing that I might do is narrow that down to 2 beads instead of 5 because of the way the spin is. I don't know if you have that video still available, but anyway, you could get away with probably 2 beads, 2 4mm, and maybe even a 3 above it, just to get it a little bit smaller, make it a little bit more compact when it's back there behind your 360, if it's an Evolution or anything else that's out there. So certainly, I'm very interested in this. It's in my front line. It's on my rod right now. If I were to go fishing with my 360s today, it will be deployed. Simple as that. So hopefully that answers the question for those folks. And Dave making sure that I tell everybody it's 4mm beads, not 6mm beads. All right, let's take a look at the fish counts real quick. Yesterday, we did show you this. They have not updated the Willamette. Very much standard. Taking a look at Bonneville. You can see these numbers are still staying down, and that's because they have not adjusted the flow coming out of Bonneville. It's still up quite high, and that will keep the fish from making a mass migration above Bonneville. They'll just kind of hang out or not make their way up there when the water comes up. Now, if the river stays stable through this week, by this weekend, again, I'm a duck hunter, so I'm always the optimist, right? You should see these numbers maybe bounce a little bit, but at the very least, it's the conditions that really stop that migration from the 12th at 3,500 down to 1,100, right? I hope I'm not wrong. At the very least, there's certainly some fish that are out there to go after. River levels, though, kind of interesting. Willamette, very stable now. Borderline low again and clear. And you can see that the turbidity now is right around 4, maybe 2 would be the better way to put that. Yeah, 2. I mean, it's almost gin clear. I hate that. And it's one of the things I mentioned just a little bit ago. Get your gear a little bit further away from the boat, maybe just a little bit deeper on your drop, on your line counter when the water's that clear. If the sun's up, at least in my opinion, and that's all it is, right? In my opinion, I like to get a little bit deeper when that sun comes out. There's still salmon. It doesn't matter if it's a kokanee, which we'll talk plenty about with Jeremy here in a bit, but a salmon's a salmon's a salmon. and they don't like that. They don't have eyelids, right? Taking a look at Vancouver, I don't mind this height if I was out there trolling, although I'd like to see it at about 15, 16. That's me being selfish, but I mean, the conditions are good. But though, again, that's going to be from the rivers that are up above Bonneville, puking a little bit of mud with some of the runoff and some of the rain, of course. So again, nothing to be concerned with. It's not that bad at all. I'd rather have a little bit more color than not enough. Doesn't matter what river I'm in. Again, don't forget, though, you need to send an email to Jason Hambley over there at ProCare. It's easy to do. You have a chance to win that weekly prize pack. I hope that you do, because that kit right there is absolutely perfect for all of our salmon seasons going forward. If you're going to be talking about our summer runs, June hogs, fall Chinook, whatever, these are great products to use throughout the remainder of the year. But again, like I mentioned, I teased it here, we haven't had Drew Rees doing our weather for a long time. Drew, it's great to see you.
You too, yeah. It's been a long time since I've been on this show, but yeah, we're looking at, honestly, a pretty good day today. It's fairly cloudy this morning. We've been seeing some breaks in the clouds. There have been some showers around. The showers will probably pick up a little bit for this afternoon, but it's not going to be too wet today. 54 degrees right now on our Rivermark Community Credit Union camera on top of the Portland Opera Building. So here you can see fairly dry, and then there's those showers we'll get early on in the afternoon, maybe starting around lunchtime or so, but then by this evening, we're going to be seeing dry and clear conditions. The skies are really going to be clearing out. That does mean temperatures are going to drop pretty quickly, though, and heading into tomorrow morning is going to be fairly chilly. But take a look at our rainfall for today. We're looking at a few hundredths of an inch of rain, maybe, kind of similar to what we saw yesterday. So I don't think the showers should be too heavy, and then we'll be dry tomorrow. But as we get into Tuesday, Wednesday, that's where we're going to see the rain increasing, especially on Tuesday. But today, high temperatures will be below average, but a little bit warmer than yesterday. We should hit about 65 degrees for the high again. Around lunchtime, I would expect maybe a shower to start there, and then a few more showers into the afternoon. Partly cloudy by this evening, and then very clear into tonight, a high, or dropping down to about 50 degrees by low. But then tomorrow morning, 43 degrees is going to be that overnight low. We'll hit 70 degrees for the high tomorrow, and then the rain is going to be returning on Tuesday. And when it does, temperatures are really going to cool down. We'll only see a high of about 58 degrees. Owen.
I love it. I mean, I know that everyone likes to see a little bit warmer weather, but we need some rain, and it's always a good thing to have it. And it's the middle of May. I'm not getting rid of my flip-flops. So.
And we've already had the 90s this month, too. So
yes, and I'm glad those are gone. They were nice. But hey, you know, it's a little bit fast. It's kind of a yo-yo, but it's spring in Oregon. It is what it is. Exactly. Drew, it's great to see you.
You too.
Take care. All right, everyone, we're going to cut to a quick break. But before we do so, I got to throw a big thanks out there for everyone that went out and supported my daughter's soccer team yesterday. They had a fundraiser. A lot of folks came through mentioning that, so we really do appreciate your support there. When we come back from this break, we've got the Kokanee Kid himself here in the studio, Jeremy John. We're going to talk Kokanee the rest of the show, so pay attention, take some notes, and remember, you can always go back and double-check things as well. We'll have this when we come back from our break.
Outdoor GPS is brought to you by P-Line, because we fish, by Hawken Fishing, perfection in fishing gear, and by Haxton's Canvas and Upholstery, the trusted name of the Pacific Northwest.